up, everyone? Welcome back to Inside Gaming Daily for...
It's Wednesday.
That's good.
It's Wednesday. If it's not, I got a parking ticket.
Good to know. I'm Adam Kovic.
Matt Danovic.
And we do the news and other stuff. Sexual favors.
Call us.
Holla. First headline of the day. PAX East will stay in Boston until the year of 2023.
Flying cars.
Yeah.
Take your flying car or jetpack to PAX East. Next up in headlines, THQ confirms the release and price for Nexus, that's how you pronounce it, as the 29th of this month for only 800 Microsoft points.
Yeah.
A deal and a half.
It's like $10.
It's $10.
There you go.
How much you spend on lunch today? More than it would cost to get Nexus.
Next up, the creator of Prince of Persia is making an all-new Karateka game for the PSN and XBLA. Yeah, it's coming out in 2012. A sequel to one of the best games of all time.
You fight what, the blue horn guy?
You just fight the environment, really.
And then yeah, okay.
You fight the ability to control your character.
Which is a losing battle.
Get to the big story, though.
And
the
then
real
the
one.
biggest story. Oh my God! Assassin's Creed 3 release date announced.
No, I thought we were just going to talk about Karakata again.
Oh, sorry.
Karateka.
No. Day before Halloween, everybody.
All right, let's move over to some news. Rockstar Max Payne 3 had a Q&A recently.
Part 2.
Yeah, and they had a few things they wanted to address to the public. First out, Rockstar is not betraying the traditional Max Payne gameplay to introduce driving, racing, or any of that stuff. It's all shooting. That's good. We're good with that, okay.
Shooting is fine.
Next up, there was a full list of characters for the Special Edition Classic Characters multiplayer pack coming soon. I hate this. DLC is coming out for Max Payne 3. Thanks. Okay.
Obviously, they always, always do that.
We're working on some really cool stuff, but it's not going to be in the game. Just don't tell me. And then this one's kind of interesting. Max Payne 1 is going to be coming to iOS in the next couple of months, similar to GTA 3. I don't know how you're going to control that.
Yeah.
With all the touching of Max. And then this was one final note here. Rockstar may also be doing a sequel at some point for the game Bully.
In the Max Payne engine.
Which is the Rage engine, which has nothing to do with the game Rage. But in Bully, you can kiss boys, so...
All right, so you may have earlier this week caught our little preview of the PS Vita.
At least 10,000 of you.
At least 10,000 of you, well, anyhow. But we didn't really go into the firmware and the actual guts of the system of the PS Vita, so we have Mr. Lawrence to guide us through it.
Thanks, guys. A few days ago, we actually did a walkthrough for the hardware of the Vita, but some of you have been asking about the actual interface, the software in the Vita, so we're going to take a look at that right now. Okay, so here's the lock screen. As you notice, you open it by tearing. It's kind of a slide mechanism, but that tearing thing is actually going to be really common in the PS Vita. That's kind of how you kill applications. And here's your list of apps. You notice they all look kind of like buttons. Personally, I think that maybe this doesn't make the best use of the Vita's real estate space, but to launch an application, you just touch on it. And then you come to this landing page. And this is another thing that I don't really get, because every application has one of these, and you have to hit start to actually start the thing you just touched on. So if I go down here to a game, note this is for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That game is not in the system right now, but it still has this page that I can get into. And if I hit start, it's going to tell me that there's no card in there. It's interesting to me that tapping on that icon doesn't actually launch the game. It just takes you to this place, which I assume will tell you if there's patches or sell you DLC, but I would think that that would be maybe one step more hidden. Here's an example of the Vita's multitasking. You can have more than one application open at a time. It looks like up to 6. And then when you hit the PlayStation button here, it gives you a little indexed view of all the applications you have open, and then you can just tab between them. And then to kill one of those apps, you just peel it like you're unlocking the screen. So that's actually pretty cool. And one thing that really impresses me about the Vita's hardware is just how responsive it is. If you've ever played the 3DS, when you hit the home screen, there's a little pause before it brings up any of that information. Here it's instant. Everything is super fast. You can close things, open them. I missed that one a few times, but you can go right into it. And then from here, it's actually launching the game. You can just hit it, pops right back out. So it's super easy, and it actually feels really cool to be switching between tasks on the Vita. There's notifications in the upper right here. You can see what's downloading. You can see trophies that you've earned. I like the way it's laid out, but I think its position on the screen is a little funky. There's a lot of bubbles, which feels really strange for a screen that's rectangular. There's one really interesting thing about the Vita's software that I really can't wrap my head around either. Whenever you put in a new game, it's going to install it. So I'm putting in Rayman here. You'll see the moment I put it in, it's going to say that it's installing the game. And there's a little pause while it does that. And for every game you play, it's going to install another one of these buttons, which is really weird. considering that you can't even play the game unless the cartridge is in the Vita. So what that's going to mean is that for every game you've ever played, unless you delete the data or move it, you will basically be pushing your information further and further down. And say I want to get to the music player, I have to scroll up a few times. Unless you're on top of organizing your Vita, that's going to eventually mean that you're going to have to scroll around a lot to get to where you want to go. You can see here from the settings also its own little application, and you also have to hit the button and go back into it. So I don't quite see that, but you can see the settings and the options are very Sony-esque. It's very horizontal menu. It's super specific, and the information it gives you very technically robust. So that will make a lot of people happy, I think. And that's your interface walkthrough for the Vita. Overall, they made some weird design decisions, but the hardware is great. And they can always update the software later. So personally, I think it's the best gaming hardware out there. Back to you, jerk-offs.
Cool. Thank you very much, Lawrence, for the full review of the PS Vita. Stay tuned next week for Recnology, where Bruce will be giving the thing an actual score. Cool. Let's move over to a few downloads. First up, on Steam, we got Dear Esther. It's $10. They've already sold 16,000 copies. Good for them.
By my mathematical calculations, that means they've made $160,000.
Good on them.
Then also the Mass Effect 3 demo is now out on PS3 and PC. All the P things.
Yeah, and FYI, getting it on the PC is a little complicated. You go through Origin. If you go through the website, it's a pain in the ass. You have to go through Origin, and there's the tab for free games, which makes no sense.
Because it isn't a free game.
It's not a free game, no, it's a demo. For our first house party game coming out on XBLA today is Warp.
Yeah.
$10.
$10.
Whatever, fun little indie game. I highly recommend checking this one out.
And then also, speaking of complicated downloads, there's a massive PSN, formerly known as PSN, now Sony Entertainment Network update. Vita launch games added. The House of the Dead 3 and Worms Ultimate Mayhem.
That is it for your downloads. Let's move over to a couple trailers today. First up, you got the Call of Duty map, new one, High Rise. This looks great. It's all new level.
No, it's called Overwatch. It's like High Rise in that it's in a constructed building on the top, and you can fall off of it, and then Rob Riggle vomits at you.
Oh, boy.
Then we also have possibly, I'm marking this one, nominated trailer of the year.
Woo!
Deep Black Reloaded, the D-Butts trailer.
B-Art.
Why is it? It's by B-Art Games, and I don't, honestly, apparently the world is run out of oil, but yet their trucks driving around. And
next up, we got the Prototype 2 Blackwatch Collector's Edition trailer. We don't normally talk about this stuff, so let's not.
Then also next we have, for the game coming out next week, the Syndicate launch trailer.
Yeah.
Syndicate trailer clip.
Whatever. I'm excited for this game. It looks cool.
Yeah, no, it looks cool.
And guess what?
What? Is that a Far Cry 3 trailer you're doing the audio for?
No, that's Syndicate, but now that you mention it, and the Far Cry 3 cinematic trailer came out today, giving you a little found footage, look behind the scenes. Check out the whole thing. It's actually pretty well done.
Yeah.
And guess what? Release date. Coming out September 7th. Not too bad.
Nice.
Pretty soon? No, that's nowhere
near soon.
No, not at all. But hey, whatever. We'll see some more stuff at E3 later this year.
Yeah.
And with that said, everyone, that is your show. Thank you so much for watching. You go fly away. Cool. Stay tuned to the end of the video. Click out, see stuff we talked about, see trailers and all that fun stuff. Follow Matt and myself on Twitter. And before we get out of here, enjoy a best video ever. Why don't you?
Of troubled times, though each only lasts a little while, and then when the next one comes